Dou Dizhu, or Fight the Landlord, is a Chinese card game played with 3 players. It is one of the most popular casual card games in China and can be played with or without bidding and gambling. The only things needed to play the game are a deck of cards with a red joker and a black joker. This deck of cards has 2 identical jokers, so I labeled one of them black joker, the other one's red joker. The goal of the game is to discard all of one's cards, basically. One player is the landlord, and the other 2 are on the same team, although they cannot look at each other's cards. The landlord wins if they discard all of their cards before the other 2 players, and the other 2 win if either of them discards all of their cards before the landlord. Which player is the landlord is decided in the dealing phase of the game. The game is set up with one player, the dealer, which rotates clockwise every round, shuffling the deck and giving it to the player on their left, who cuts the deck. One card on the top of one of the cut halves is then turned face up. The other cut of the deck is then placed back on top. 3 cards which will be given to the landlord are taken from the top of the deck and placed face down away from the deck. The cards are then dealt counterclockwise, and in versions of the game without bidding, whoever is dealt the card facing up becomes the landlord. The landlord takes the 3 cards, first showing them to the other players. After the dealing phase, the game can begin. The game involves players taking turns playing different combinations of cards. There are many different combinations of cards that the players can play, and suits do not matter in this game. All combinations follow the same general ranking of cards, which goes from lowest to highest in the order 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King, Ace, 2, Black Joker, Red Joker. Specific combinations can only be beaten by higher cards of the same type of combination, with only 2 exceptions. The combinations include a single card, a pair of cards, a triplet plus any different single, a triplet plus any different pair, a sequence of minimum 5 consecutive cards that cannot include 2s or jokers, a sequence of minimum 3 consecutive pairs that cannot include 2s or jokers, a sequence of minimum 2 consecutive triplets, an airplane, or a sequence of minimum 2 consecutive triplets plus either different singles or different pairs, and the number of different singles or pairs depends on how many consecutive triplets there are. For example, 3 triplets plus 3 different singles would be a valid combination. A quadplex set, which is 4 of the same card plus 2 different singles or 2 different pairs. A bomb, or 4 of the same card, which can be played regardless of the current combination and beats everything but higher bombs and rockets. And a rocket, or the joker pair, which can be played regardless of the current combination and beats everything. The game begins with the landlord starting first and going counterclockwise. The landlord can play any valid combination of cards, and the other players must play higher cards of that same type of combination. If a player cannot beat the played combination, they must pass, although they can also pass even if they can beat it. If a player plays something and the other 2 players pass, that player can then play a new combination of their choice. Dou Dizhu is a game that can be considered relatively easy to learn, but difficult to master. Although luck is a part of the game, it also involves a lot of strategic thinking, because knowing what cards to play in certain situations and what dangerous combinations the opponent may be saving are things that must be constantly thought about when playing. Practicing playing the game with others is the best way to truly learn the nuances of the game's strategy and to better understand the game. Thank you for listening.